Everybody should be able to see it by now. America's been getting scammed for years. And then a self-made billionaire who will put an end to those scams decides to run for president. That's when the scammers tell us that he's working with Russia. And when that failed, they said he was a dictator who would never leave office. And then when he left office, they said he was a racist. And when that failed, they tried to claim he was a sexist. And when that failed, they said he was a fascist. And then when that failed, the same people that have been scamming us for years turned around and tried to use the legal system to prevent him from taking office again. They tried to take him off of the ballots in multiple states. And then they fabricated a bunch of charges to try to put him in prison for the rest of his life. And then, as all of their cases failed one by one, with the exception of mislabeling financial records, somebody tried to take his life multiple times. And then after all of that failed and he actually became president again, now they're trying to claim that he's part of the Epstein list while he's exposing the scammers left and right. And now the scammers are the ones pretending to be the victim. You got Gavin Newsom's employee busted for $5 million in unemployment fraud. You got Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff, and Letitia James all being investigated for mortgage fraud. You got the Somalian population under Tim Walz stealing over $1 billion worth of fraud and then sending it back to terrorists overseas. You got other people in Minnesota getting charged for election fraud. And now that Trump and the Republicans have shut down USAID, you have companies like PBS News Network out begging the population for money because their funding was cut off. So let's face the facts. If Trump was really a bad guy, they wouldn't have to go out of their way to make up lies and use those lies to convince you that he's a bad guy. All they would have to do is tell the truth, the same way we do about the Democrats. If Trump was so horrible, they wouldn't have to use false accusations to demonize him. They just let him do what he's going to do, and then they would have grounds for impeachment. Instead, they used false accusations to convince people that he's a horrible person. And if the accusations weren't false, then they would have won by now on more than just the mislabeled payments. I mean, seriously, think about it and just apply a little bit of common sense. They attempted to take this man down dozens of times, and every one of those times failed except 34 mislabeled payments. And even that shit was shady. They took a misdemeanor charge, upgraded it to a felony for the first time ever, and then put him on a gag order while they fucking dragged him through the court system. And then, since there were 34 payments, they give him 34 felonies. That way they could jump on the news and use that headline, knowing that low-level, low-IQ people won't go do the research for themselves. But then when you apply the smallest bit of common sense, you realize, wait a minute, a billionaire probably isn't even out there labeling his payments. It's probably an accountant that he hired. So out of all of the things that they've ever accused him of, the only thing they found him guilty of is an action that was committed by somebody else that he hired. Meanwhile, the Democrats attempt to convince you that they're the good guys while they actively fight against law enforcement to protect illegal immigrants. The Democrats use the legal system to attack Trump when he attempts to send in soldiers to bring down the crime rates in those Democrat areas. The Democrats go out of their way to protect criminals and then investigate the President of the United States. Ask yourself, why would they do that? And then just simply take a look around at all this fraud that's being exposed and you'll have your answer. They were attempting to prevent him from coming in and exposing what the fuck they've been doing. If you disagree, then be my guest. Go ahead and prove me wrong.